Hello, and welcome to this Source Gaming discussion on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm your host, NantenJex, and joining me today from the Source Gaming team is Spazzy D.
Hey, guys.
Triss.
Hello.
And Kody.
Hey there.
And I have brought these lovely guys on here today because Nintendo has finally announced Fighter 6, kind of.
Sort of. Close
Sort
enough.
of. So, yeah. So out of nowhere, they dropped a Nintendo Mini Direct, which I think is the first one they've done since 2018.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Shadow dropped it just like they did with that one, covered a bunch of upcoming stuff like Xenoblade and all that, but that's not really what we're here to talk about.
No.
They pulled a joker on us by going like, and here's the next Smash news announcement. We're going to be talking about the next character and all the stuff you'll see from the next character at a later date. Specifically June they gave us, which, you know, lines up right about when E3 was going to be. So, I mean,
it's going to be their E3 Direct.
It's going to be their E3 Direct. Well, they'll do
Yep. Reveal
yeah,
and
they'll
release.
do the usual Sakurai presentation either the same day as or before E3, kind of like what they did with the Ryu presentation back in Smash 4, where it was like the day before.
Right.
I'm glad that they didn't say Smash Fighter 6 and then zoom in and be like, will be announced in June.
Uh-huh.
I really thought that's where they were going.
That would have been so
I
painful.
thought that's what they would go. Yeah. But no, instead what they did was they gave us the announcement of the announcement and told us that the character would in fact be from ARMS, one of Nintendo's newest IPs, one of the Switch's newest IPs.
And the
rather
closest
surprising
thing that we have to a lock for base game, if you remember.
Yeah. So ARMS is a really interesting choice. I mean, the game came out 3 years ago. I think it was like something like June.
It came out
July
yeah.
2017.
Yep.
And then
First year of
yeah,
the Switch.
and then got updates and all this for about half a year. So by the end of 2017, it was sort of done, and the only thing coming was the comic book. And it appeared, which is still coming, by the way, which is, yeah. But it's then in Smash Brothers, obviously a lot of people thought we'd get Springman as the Ryu of ARMS in the base game, and it didn't happen. Instead, Springman showed up as an assist trophy, and then Springman and Ribbon Girl were Mii costumes, and they got spirits in the game. So for a lot of people, ARMS was a complete write-off. I mean, it's not as relevant anymore. The characters and series already has representation in Smash. It was just not expected, and so to have it be the Fighter 6 and revealed in this way was rather surprising.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Right, but if you think about
yeah.
it,
not all
if
expected.
you think about it, there was never any music, and that's the thing they needed most, was ARMS
That
music.
is true.
Yeah, true.
I've been listening to the ARMS
It's really
OST,
funny,
and
too.
It's really good. Like, it's
It
really
is.
Yeah, it's
good.
great.
They just need...
It's great.
fantastic.
It's like Punch Out, where it's basically the same song, but just remixed and done
Oh
in
yeah,
better
Yeah.
styles.
the same motif over and over again.
Exactly.
But like there was some music in that game that I probably never listened to, and I did with the OST after this was announced. And like the replay theme is a bop. Like it's so good.
It's not really Smash appropriate, but the credits theme is also really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that, but we have like
That's
nature.
true.
True.
So
Roosters roost and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything's
like-
probably possible.
Yeah. But yeah, this really came out as a surprise. But what they did, which was quite interesting, was announce that it would be ARMS, then splashed all the ARMS fighters on screen, and essentially said it'll be what we're not going to tell you who the fighter is. They're on screen right now, but we're not going to tell you who it is. Come back in June.
It's going
Which has
to
created
be...
quite a unique situation, I think, for Smash Bros. Speculation,
Yeah.
because it's basically whittled down all the guesses we could have to a sizable, 12, 14? I should have looked that up before we started this.
Well,
But,
yes and no,
15.
because
15.
there's all of the main characters, and then there's always a chance that they could do some sort of combination character as well. There's
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Things
we
they
can
could
talk
do.
about it, but that still technically means that the character is on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
There.
yeah.
So I'm just going to get this up for myself. There it is. So,
It's going to be the protagonist for ARMS 2, which will be announced in June.
They could.
They
They
could.
could.
They could
Yeah.
announce Arms. That's my official guess. I just decided right now. They could announce Arms too, because why would they be pushing Arms right now at E3? That same time, they could show the new character from Arms as a character in Smash. Done.
That
Done.
would be surprising. I would not expect that.
Yeah, that would be subverting expectations. So there are 16 characters if we include Biff, which I'm going to include because I'm not leaving Biff out of this.
Okay,
And-
fair enough.
What I thought we would do is sort of say who we want to see from those 16, pretty much. Like, who do we think is going to be the character that Sakurai chooses? He has commented on this. I'll read the official translation that Zephazon did. A new fighter from ARMS will join Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Despite this special request, it is very difficult to stick to the rules of the game, as well as find the right balance while maintaining the spirit of ARMS. Prepare for a fighter with an entirely original mechanic. Or entirely original mechanics. Sorry, need to read that right.
Ever since Shulk, he's had this thing where he shows off a new character with even more crazy range, outdoing the range of the last character.
Yeah.
Because with
Time to outdo Byleth with a telegraph.
In Corrin's reveal trailer, literally, he outdistances Shulk, and I think Shulk outdistanced somebody else in his trailer. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Corrin got outdistanced in the Belmont trailer just to show off their whip, and then Simon got outdistanced by Byleth. It's going to happen again. Byleth is going to get outranged by an ARMS character in the trailer. Going to happen 100%.
Oh man, but yeah, it means that they are pretty much like we can expect this character to be somewhat unique, which is good. Always very good for DLC. That's what I want to see. But it also makes me think, and I think we've all got this, that it's not necessarily Springman because. Because he's the most boring character on the roster. No. But it's also pretty interesting in the fact that Springman's already an assist trophy. So if he does get in, it kind of breaks down that fan rule that assist trophies can't be promoted.
And
But
they would
also-
have just said Springman if it was Springman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to kind of piggy off of that a little bit, you also already have the Springman meat costume. Same also going for
True.
Ribbon Girl.
True. So I guess what I want to say then is, who do we think it's going to be? Like, what are our sort of guesses for which of these 16 fighters it's going to be? I don't think it'll be Biff, as cool as that would. As much funny as that would be.
You don't think it'll be Biff using Headlock?
Incredible. Oh, I forgot all about Headlock. He's not shown on here, so
I think Headlock would work as whatever character gets in as their final smash.
Oh,
Just
you're right.
saying.
Yeah.
They just get the headlock and then it's just a bunch of punches like DK's final smash or something.
yeah,
That would
that
make
could
sense,
work.
yeah.
Or Headlock could be some kind of stage hazard if the stage they go
Oh,
for
that
is the
could
be a
Village
boss.
arena, the one on top. Because that
too,
it's,
yeah.
I feel like it's either going to be the spring arena or that final arena.
Yeah.
Those are my two guesses. There's nice simple layout, which is what DLC likes. With a simple mechanic, the spring one has the bouncy pads and stuff, and you
Yeah.
can fall off of them, so it could be a floating, not floating stage, an island stage as they like to call it.
One thing I do want to say before we even start is that I think if a character's fighting style is a little weird for ARMS, like, for instance, Dr. Coyle kind of floats around and stuff and doesn't fight exactly like an ARMS character. You want a character that that the entire game can be encapsulated
Embodies
with.
arms, yeah.
Exactly. So even Twin
Yeah.
Tail, I think, is a little... She doesn't use her arms.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're literally, Twin Tail should actually be already out because Sakurai literally said this character will be able to stretch her arms really far. She can't.
Oh,
Disqualified.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean,
I guess if you're also going with other fan theories to get rid of some characters, the spirits already in Smash, which many people believe
I
the
don't-
spirits kind of discount characters. There's Springman, Ribbon Girl, Min Min, Twin Tail, and
I
Ninja.
don't-
the only spirits.
Oh, really? Is that... I didn't realize there were so many arms spirits in Smash already because...
With no songs. It's so odd.
Yeah, with no songs.
Yeah, it is
strange.
weird.
I mean, before
weird.
Byleth was in Smash, there weren't any spirits from Fire Emblem Three Houses, so it's a weird
Yeah.
situation now.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I think Pass 2 wasn't decided upon when the base game was
Oh,
made
yeah.
at all.
No.
True.
So
Yeah.
I feel like
Definitely not.
spirits and
Yeah.
costumes. I think assist trophies might still factor in, but I feel like spirits and costumes
Spirits.
that don't
Yeah.
really matter unless, and this is just personal, who knows? Unless the spirits were released in the last kind of 6 months, when you have a
Oh, so if they had the
Yeah, I
events
feel like
and they were
events-
added in, yeah, that's
This,
fair.
Yeah.
pass.
because why would you do a Resident Evil character or
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if
right.
you plan on doing it? So, and Pokemon's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to get too off track, but Pokemon's the only weird one because they have one spirit for the starters, but not for any of their final evolutions. So I don't know.
Hmm.
That's just weird.
Just for reference though, with the spirits thing, it means that there are 11 characters in ARMS that don't have spirit. So I think that pretty much makes up the entire spirit board we would expect to see in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone being locked off of this. So there we go. But yeah, let's talk about who we sort of think it's going to be. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first and give their thoughts?
I'm
Yeah,
fine with this.
Go for it. Go ahead. Go
can do
ahead,
it.
then, Tris. Camera's on
Okay.
you.
So I think factoring in so many different things, including the spirit thing, solely because I think it's just there's a lot that people can work with in looking at all these. I think we can see Helix.
Helix.
I think Helix is a character that really represents like the core what ARMS is, as well as the wacky mechanics he has in his dodging and kind of stretching that he himself has throughout his whole body with the weird kind of goo thing that he is. Also, he has a bit like some of the heavier and more ranged arms, like the dragon arms. Like I think he has the ice versions of what Min Min has. He has the giant blobby ones. Sure, they can kind of pull anyone's arms technically, but I think he would really represent the wackiness that comes with the game best. And he's not represented in Smash in any way, shape, or form of what ARMS already has.
Yeah, getting Flubber in the game would be pretty neat. Like, like Helix is one of those choices I could see happening. I think he's kind of big to the lore. I mean, you fight loads of those clones of Helix, the grey ones, in the training mode, and they all have a pretty neat design, but his is quite unique considering he's not human. And you're right. You're right. He would represent the wacky thing. And I think what's this mechanic? He can like sort of sink into the ground, can't he?
He can
And
change
like
Yeah.
his
dodge
height.
and
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah, which could be an interesting mechanic in Smash somehow. But yeah, Helix would be a pretty good one. I like that. That was one of my choices. I think, in my opinion, I think it's probably Min Min. If I had to pick one, because Min Min's the most popular character
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
them.
she's the one that won like that
Yeah.
championship that they did to kind of determine the best character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she also gets ranged attacks with the dragon fists. If we're like looking at their specialities, and she gets that. She can also kick people,
Yeah.
which opens up the board
Yep.
to a few like reversals and some aerial attacks and stuff like that, just to differentiate it a bit more from the stretchy punch attack that basically is going to be the core of the moveset.
Right.
So I think there's a lot there that sort of works with Min Min. Also, if they went for her stage, that's kind of unique-ish. It's a bit like Green Hill, with its weird like bowl
Yeah,
shape.
that would be that would be pretty interesting. I think I think her being a female character is also might be something they could be aiming towards, because the last pass didn't have any female characters on it besides Kazooie, if you count Kazooie, but
And Byleth,
And I guess
yeah,
female
Violet
but-
too,
yeah.
but those were both secondary to another character. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Min Min
Exactly.
might be something they want to represent.
Yeah, that'd be good, because I think the female characters are the more interesting ones in ARMS, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, my other top choices are mostly the female ones, but I won't mention them in case anyone else wants to bring them up as their points.
Yeah, Min Min was my second pick. That's why I
Yeah,
didn't want
Min
to say
Min was my
anything there.
Then what was your first thing, Kody?
My first was actually Max Brass. And Max Brass isn't like a super interesting character, and he's not like he's like, he doesn't have a special mechanic like the other ARMS characters do. He's pretty standard in terms of like he just uses his arms to attack, and I think his mechanic in ARMS is like tanking attacks, like super armor kind of thing. So
Yes,
I feel like that could also be incorporated into Smash pretty easily. But aside from that, he's important to the ARMS lore. Like, he's the champion in the ARMS championship in the game. And he's always the boss, I think. I think he's always the boss in the
yes, even when you're playing as him, he's the boss.
Yeah, right. So he's always in that mode too, and because he was added as I think there could be something against him because he was added later as a DLC character. Like, he wasn't playable until that point, but he was already in the game before that point too. So, right.
He was imposing.
So he was always there, and he has an important role in the games. He could be, because of that, and he's easy to incorporate into Smash, I think he could be a likely choice. But Min, I like Min more personally, but I think Max Brass has a better chance.
Okay. All right. Then I guess that just leaves you, Spazzy, with no natural segue.
Oh, well, I'm going to go for a very boring choice.
Okay.
Not Springman, by the way, who would be a very boring character, not just because he's a generic character, but because his gimmicks are basically a counter and, like, Lucario's aura, more or less.
Okay.
He would be really...
So your choice is Springtron, then?
No, my choice is Ninjara. And my choice is Ninjara because there's a game coming out called Ninjala, and it's like you're already promoting two things by including this one character. It's number one. Okay, that was a hint in the direct, guys. Come on, you need a
missed that.
Of course, yeah.
Also, wasn't he the runner-up to Min in that popularity contest?
Yes.
He was.
Yes, he was. Min beat him in the finals.
He's a popular character, and just looking at his abilities, he's like, I don't know. On one hand, he seems like he'd be so easy to implement. He just has warps and some ninja stuff, like. But on the other hand, the only reason I might doubt him is because, I mean, it is just kind of ninja stuff. Like, I don't know if you want
another ninja.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you want somebody that's very much represents ARMS, which is kind of why Springman and Ribbon Girl do work, even though they're boring, because they're showing you the main mechanics of ARMS.
That's part of the reason.
I mean, I think Ribbon Girl is much more interesting than Springman, though, because she has a whole like really good theming around her. As opposed to Springman, who's basically Little Mac.
Like, that's it. That's his personality.
Ribbon Girl's also got a much better aerial game because she gets the extra jumps and stuff, and I think her default arms would be a lot funner in Smash than I think what Springman has. Definitely. I mean, if I remember right, she's got like boomerangs and a popper, and then is it an electric punch? Is that a default?
Yeah, she's got the Sparky, the Popper, and the Slapper.
Oh, the Slappermander, that's
we should talk about how those are going to be incorporated into the moveset for whatever character we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I feel like because they can pick from basically any arms, they're going to have a nice balance for a moveset.
Yeah.
I reckon some more projectile-based ones, because, like, if most of the default punch attacks are going to be the punches, then why not have the other arms be, like projectile-based ones, like the dragon one and the boomerang one,
right?
The exploding one. Although one cool thing they could do for a mechanic is obviously you can mix and match arms, which you do before the start of a fight. But maybe in this one of the special buttons, or even two of the special buttons, like maybe the left and right special button, actually let you change which arm you currently equipped on your hand,
then it would
which obviously
change
left and right for each one, and that would change kind of like some variables about what you would do with your regular attacks.
Right.
Like you could still do the same animation of them punching forward, because basically every attack still does that. But then like you could swap between the electric or the fire punch for a different sort of after effect that follows.
Right.
Or if it's a projectile one, it will then get that extra reach where the projectile then fires off.
I wonder if it'll be similar to how Olimar can use different Pikmin. The different arms will have different effects depending on which one you use. Like Olimar's purple Pikmin has a lot more knockback than any of the other ones do, so there might be an arm that's tended toward that, or the fire Pikmin has like pretty standard medium kinds of attack, but it goes like at a normal kind of range instead of purple Pikmin, which is shorter range.
I think the other thing to consider as well in terms of ARMS mechanics is that ARMS' punches are obviously defined both by left and right depending on the Joy-Con and what like button you're pressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like if you do a combo it does a very specifically laid out combo like in other fighting games. You can do like 3 right jabs and then 1 left jab if you wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And because both arms act independently, I wonder if that's a sort of unique mechanic that could be in Smash where the A button, I'll just call it the A and B button, but instead of standard and special for this, the A button is the right hand and the B button is the left hand.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
And so,
that could be...
Yeah, so essentially there are no specific specials laid out for this. Instead, just standards.
I don't know if that would work well. I don't know if that would work well with the way Smash is angled, with the way the it's side by side, where that would definitely change depending on which direction you're facing. So I don't know if that's... I don't know specifically if the left arm, right arm mechanic would be the best way to do that, unless it's just a matter of A button will make one definitively come out first, and B will definitively make the other one come out first, regardless of what direction they're facing.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in principle, I guess, but I guess you want to make sure if you're tying it to left and right that it's not gonna kind of reverse the order, so to say, when they're facing the other way, that it's actually there left and right, and it's not one of those ones where they mirror when they turn around, because a lot of characters mirror.
The player would have to be able to recognize what is the left and right hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's certainly possible. It's certainly unique.
Yeah, that would be unique.
And could represent ARMS.
Yeah, I think because of the perspective of Smash, it might be difficult to make that kind of mechanic work, just because of it being side from the side instead of like ARMS is third person looking at somebody in 3D. It might be difficult to keep track of that kind of thing when you're actually using it in a match and everything too. And I don't... Kirby would only probably be able to use one arm if that's a thing too.
That's true. Too. That is also true. Unless,
we need to have some sort of standard special.
I mean, Kirby, unless they just give him like the grab, because they've given him the side special before when the standard special is different, and the grab is definitely going to be there, whether it's a special, unique like, command grab, whether it's a command grab or just his regular character's grab.
Oh, I think it'll be because I would almost say both, in the sense of you have the command grab version, you have the normal grab, but I think the difference between them obviously would be one would lead into a normal actual grab, then the other one would be I guess almost similar, like let's say Bowser's command grab with the side B. But I think both of them would be rather slow, like Pac-Man's grab, where the only time you can really get hit by it is if you're like right next to him and it comes out really slow. Because if their arms can extend of as fast as like Byleth's sword or Corrin's side smash, they would definitively be broken characters.
No, there has to be slow.
They may have the range, but it cannot be fast.
It's slow in arms for a reason. So
I'll
have to stick to that.
I think, if anything, it might be similar to the Mii Brawlers side B, their command grab that does the grab and then the pummel kind of thing. I think it might be like that if they were going to do something like that. Yeah.
I did also want to bring up, though, because Sakurai talking about how it's hard to get the unique mechanics from the games over, but like, you know, he's trying to do his best to keep the spirit of ARMS while keeping it working within Smash. Does spread some good light for Heihachi from Tekken, who Sakurai's main reason for not including him was that it would be hard to get the mechanics of Tekken in with this, like the spirit of Tekken in the Smash Brothers style. But if he's having the same problems with ARMS and he's managed to find a way around it, I think that definitively says that if he's going to put Heihachi in, if he's going to put a Tekken character in, he can do it. The argument that
he essentially said the same thing
isn't necessarily a thing.
Yeah, he essentially said the same thing with Ridley too, which is you know, before it's all like, oh, it's hard to make a character that's that fast and that good in the air and that strong. It's, to balance him and still make him feel like Ridley. But I mean, he did it. So
yeah, you did it.
Speaking of Heihachi, so since this character is going to be revealed in June, do we also
and then released in
do
June?
we also think that there will be another character revealed during that E3 presentation?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
And if so, do you think it'll be part of this reveal trailer where Min Min or whoever is fighting, and then all of a sudden Heihachi comes and punches them in the face?
Oh man!
I mean, that would be really good if it was. I feel like this presentation is going to be before E3, like a few days before, and then at the actual E3 Direct they'll announce the next one, so they'll be in separate occasions. But I'd be all for them getting the reveal character getting a proper trailer with. Heihachi fighting Heihachi or something.
I think that would be really nice, though I also don't think they will. I think if they did anything, if it was actually during E3, it would probably be split up like Hero and Banjo where like start and end of direct kind of thing. It would definitely be nice to see them get like a proper CG. Excuse me, like a proper CG trailer.
I think they will
for sure.
I think they will because they got to reveal the specific character it's going to be.
Yeah.
Unless it's not a specific character, and this is a good way to segue into this sort of theory that fans have been throwing around that I wanted us to give our 2 cents on.
Yes.
Because the fact that they not telling us a specific character and had all the characters laid out there, and because the general mechanics of arms is shared across all characters and anyone can use any sort of arm, there has been the sort of theory going around that potentially we could see a Hero or Bowser Jr. coupling situation where the reason they're not revealing the specific one is because it's actually a bunch of characters under one umbrella.
What's
and
interesting
you'll get
about
to pick
that,
who it is through changed costumes.
What's interesting about that is the characters are very different. The default arms don't really matter because you can cycle through arms or anybody can technically use those. But they all have their special abilities. But I suppose, and I think at most it would be Hero. They would just pick 4 because you'd have to have people that have similar body shapes and sizes. You don't want to get too crazy. And movement too.
And that's the thing there.
Yeah.
I think it would be Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara.
Yeah, exactly.
And essentially, the first few revealed, they have very similar body types and frames, and the things that each of them could do. Theoretically, there's no reason why the rest of them couldn't do them.
And they could give each other...
It's when you get into different ones, like Helix, that's a bit more difficult. The rest of them aren't going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly, and you could have these characters, and you could take some of their special abilities and just be like, well, now they can do them. I mean, whatever. We always revert back to the Earthbound characters and Mother characters.
Yeah.
But...
right?
I suppose.
Right?
Like, if Ribbon Girl's jumped... I mean, everyone has a double jump anyway, so that's Ribbon Girl's unique thing sort of shared across. Springman's was a counter. Min Min uses her feet, which was like could be used by any character technically. And then I mean
that could just be the animation in the counter, or just like a tilt attack or something.
Ninjara's disappearing act could very easily just be like a dodge. That's just a unique dodge animation if you're playing as Ninjara almost.
Yeah.
So that is true. Although if they did that and then they didn't have a Springtron ult for Springman, I mean, come on. Like, it's so easy.
I mean, that would probably be his alt. That would probably be his alt instead of giving him one of his actual costumes.
Yeah, I feel like if they do have Springman, I feel like a Springtron ult is like a definite thing.
Yeah.
But if they had all 4 of them, will they then have technically a 5th character with Springtron?
Yeah.
And just not give Springman his own different color?
That is what's tricky too, because I mean, say instead of the Hero route, say this went the Bowser Jr. the Koopa Links route, right? So then you do Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, Min Min, and then you kind of play around with it a little bit by removing unique character abilities to give you what else? Kid Cobra, Helix, Springtron, and
Masango, I feel.
Masango.
Yeah, Masango's the only one who, I think, for Master Mummy and Max Brass are too big.
They're too big. Bite and Bark and Mechanica are way too different. Dr. Coil's too different. Lola Pop also is a bit different in body shape and the way she works.
And then Twin Tail obviously fights with her hair instead of her hands,
yeah.
So that wouldn't
that wouldn't line up properly, no.
But yeah, if they did do it that way, but I feel like doing it the Hero way with 4 is probably the best way to do it, and you're right. If they do it that way, then it is 100% Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, and Min Min with maybe Springtron, I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it would be the 4. I don't think it would be the full Bowser Jr. route, because I think that would be overcrowding it a little bit and diminishing what actually make the characters different.
Yeah.
But the hero route with 4 of them, it's the 4, I guess, quote-unquote, most similar.
Yeah, the 2 most
characters.
popular and the 2, I guess, mascots of it,
Yeah,
if you will.
exactly.
Although if they do that, Springman is definitely the default one, which is still...
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Although...
Which would definitely be interesting with the assist trophy, too.
Alright, Springman's not in, it's just Springtron. Ribbon Girl's now the front line. Springman forever regulated to assist trophy. Or, I mean, they could do that, or they could replace the Springman assist trophy with Springtron.
Oh.
Or...
I could see them doing that, actually.
Or they could just... Yeah. Or they could just trigger it so that whenever Springman is in battle... The Springman assist trophy just can't appear. In the or it's Springtron. Just like how they've done it with you play on Wii Fit Arena.
Spirit Shack
Alucard
stage?
can't appear because there's a mirror in the background and stuff like that. Levels with backgrounds.
Wait, do they have that for Ring Fit Arena?
For Wii Fit, for
I
Wii
did not
Fit
know
Arena,
that. Wii Fit.
But characters who appear in the
Oh my God,
background,
I
like
didn't know that.
Andros, can't appear there. But also Alucard can't appear because there's a mirror, that's the funniest one because the rest of them are all obviously
That is really funny.
gameplay specific, like levels that have specific backgrounds where you couldn't see off into the distance. Characters like Andros can't
Knuckles
show up
is
Yeah.
the Knuckles assist
Yeah,
trophy
Knuckles
won't
can't
appear
appear.
on Green Hill. So there's a couple different ones like
on them.
that.
Yeah, no, if they have those kinds of restrictions in place already, then they can totally just make it be so it's Springtron instead of Springman when the assist trophy gets used.
Or no Springman at all.
Yeah, that's definitely possible then.
Right.
Or no Springman at all, yeah. That's definitely possible. They've basically proven they could do something like that then. That wouldn't be difficult.
boy.
No,
for
it
them.
wouldn't be. Yeah.
If that happens, will we see a rise in Waluigi fame again?
Oh, we will. Oh, 100%.
probably.
I mean, this is the one problem with bringing any assist trophy up to the top. I would go full throttle on the Takamaru support again, and I think all the Bomberman Shovel Knight support, as well as the Waluigi support, Isaac support, even Crystal support, like all of that's just gonna shoot up.
Oh yeah, of course. Even though, the characters are excited.
I mean, Golden Sun already has music in the game, so it doesn't need
Exactly.
Waluigi Pinball is already in the game.
Can we spend a minute to really
so...
talk about the ARMS music, though?
Well, I think we're already
Like,
half an hour into this, so it might be a good time to start
That's
wrapping
fair.
up. But the ARMS music is
That's
very
fair.
good,
That's
and
fair.
people are going to be listening to it throughout this because I'll have it as background music.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Having
So
all
good,
that is
so
going to be
good.
great. But yeah, I guess any last thoughts on the character and any gameplay mechanics and all that before I wrap this up?
Here's one that I'm hearing people theorize that I'm curious on thoughts of.
Okay.
So people think because it didn't say what specific character, people think it will still be Springman, but Ribbon Girl not as an alt, but as an Echo Fighter. Releasing
I
her-
did consider that, yeah.
Here's what I think. I think that all of the characters, just like in the first Fighter Pass, are going to have to be released at the same value point. Because it's weird if they're bundled together. And they're all going to be, if they're bundled together, they're all going to be the same price. And it's weird to have different things for each fighter because it's a bundle. Meaning that it's...
Yeah.
If the first character has an Echo, should we expect Echoes for everybody else? So that's...
Right.
That is the issue
If
there.
they were standalone fighters, I would
But
think that's more likely.
what if the Echo could be the second on the pass of the 6 characters?
Well, that's
That's
obvious.
why there's
People
6.
that is bad.
I mean, if this opened up the door for as like a separate DLC, so say you got Springman in the Fighters Pass, and then they release like an Echo bundle or pass specifically a lot like at the same time, which had Ribbon Girl as the frontliner for that.
Right.
I mean, that opens up the door for Echoes from other DLC as just separate fighters.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
because that could be potentially something.
Definitely.
Yeah. But all right, cool. Well, in that case, thank you guys for joining me, and I thank you everyone for listening to this. Let us know which ARMS character you guys would like to see in the comments down below. We want to give a special thanks to all of our lovely patrons who are again appearing on screen. If you want to know how you can sort of contribute to Source Gaming, get your voice heard, suggest stuff for us to talk about, appear on streams and more, then follow us on Patreon. It only takes like $1 to sort of get all these perks. There's a link to it down below. With that, like, comment, subscribe, and always remember to return to the source.